Good morning, or afternoon, or whenever you happen to be watching this. If you were to turn this whole pandemic business into an image, what would it be? A skunk? A roaring lion? A bush of nettles? For me, the pandemic calls forth in my mind a huge mountain, which of course leads us directly to that wonderful 121st Psalm, which many of you memorized years ago. Remember? I lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Until recently, I always understood that verse in the traditional way, in which the hills are an image of the glorious power and help of God. But for me recently, the hills represent something different. They represent those scary periods in my life when seemingly immovable, unsolvable, fear-inducing situations rear up before me, and I feel helpless and hopeless and, scared. Sort of like, a pandemic. So what about you? Have you known mountains in your life that have seemed insurmountable? Maybe right now? What is at the end of this road that we're on as a society and as individuals? We lift up our eyes to this never before seen mountain and we wonder, what is going to get me through all this? The psalmist affirms that his help will be the Lord who made the mountain, as well as whatever is on the other side. Whatever is on the other side. So we're talking about hope, aren't we? People over the centuries have taught us that it's amazing what we can endure as long as we have hope. St. Paul, who experienced great mountains of terror in his life as a missionary, wrote in his letter to the young church in Rome that if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. I think I'm working on that. Maybe you are too. How often the word uncertainty is used on TV, in our newspapers, and in all of our conversations. I think of you children wondering when your parents will finally get out of the house and back to work, or when you can get back to school to see your friends. And you youth, when will you be able to see your friends, play basketball, go to a movie, hug your grandpa or your grandma or your aunt? All of us of every age are filled with a mountain of uncertainty. And for some of us older folks, that mountain can be a pile of bills, a load of uncertainty, and will I get the virus? So the psalmist's question is a very practical one for us all. From where does our help come? And not just financial. One of the great professors at the Yale School of Theology has been Thomas Troger. He brings God right into our living room with this quote: to undomesticate God to see God in places where we are convinced God would never be, is to be able to hope and believe again. Hope, unseen, is the envelope carrying God's message of love for right now and far into the future. And that envelope was delivered by Jesus. You've got mail, and so do I. God bless us all.